3 weeks gone into the new year. But then we have a saying that if you fail to plan, you've planned to fail. We're going to start out in this first episode, the debut season of it, with talking about plans, talking about vision, talking about budgeting. Now, basically, it's going to shock you that what goes out of our pocket as regards our finances on a daily basis, if you're able to keep them together, will shock you the results you're going to turn out or churn out in a month, in a year, in a quarter. Let me ask you a question. Probably you're following, and how many of you have gone to the market, gone to the supermarket, gone to a mall, gone to wherever, and you plan to buy a biro, you plan to buy a phone? How many have gone and ended up buying just what you plan to buy? I'm sure I'm talking about someone, because you're going to see you plan to buy a biro, you plan to get a phone, but you ended up getting more than you actually planned or budgeted or even thought about. It's as simple as that. In fact, you're going to have less than 2% who actually stick to a plan, stick to a budget, stick to whatever they plan to do when they step out to get what they want to get. Now, it's going to shock you. Well, I have the money, I have the wherewithal or the means, so why not? I should go ahead after I can afford it. If you look at the long run or how it's going to affect you at the end of the month, the year, it's going to shock you how much is taken out and why it's difficult for you to achieve your financial goal at the end of the year. It will be an error if I should say, maybe we call it religiously New Year resolutions, but it will be an error if by this time you don't have plans, you don't have goals already set out for the year already. It will be a huge error, a huge, huge error. But I'm going to give you room for that. Maybe you take out today, between now and the next edition, you're going to ensure you write out your financial goals. Now, let's look at how you're going to prepare that goals. Goals in finances include your goals in savings, your goals in investment, your goals in charity, your goals in expenditure. We call them also your goals in miscellaneous, whatever comes up, emergencies, medical, whatever could come up. Now, have you met someone who you said, please, can you help me with 5,000 naira? And the person says, I don't have the money. And you're like, Oga, I can see your balance. Literally, I know what's going on. I know what's going in. And he says, I don't have the money. Now, I'm not trying to give excuses for people who could, be clingy or whatever. But the truth is, when it's not in the budget or when the budget for that particular provision has been exhausted, it's normal or expected to say, I don't have the money for that because it's not in the budget. Okay, so you're going to set out your goals for savings, goals for investment, goals for expenditure, goals for emergencies, miscellaneous, whatever comes up, goals for charity. You must give. It's a secret. You must give. You're going to help the poor. You're going to help those around. You're going to help. You must. It's a must. In fact, there's a principle that ensures whenever you get up, you remain up. That's why corporate brands have what they call CSR, corporate social responsibility. It's a must. If you don't have such, it's going to be difficult for you to stay afloat. In fact, let me tell you, it's actually very easy to become wealthy, but it's actually more difficult to remain wealthy. Somebody will be like, let me become wealthy first. Right? Now, you must have your goals set out. I want to meet 10 million naira in savings, make 10 million naira in savings this year, 2024, for example. That goals must be able to be broken down into months. That means 12 months, I'm targeting at least 1 million naira every month. So that means if I'm not able to meet up in this month, I'm doubling what you might call your hustle or doubling your efforts to ensure that next month you're able to cover up for the month you lapsed. Now, goals must be measurable. Goals must be time checked. You don't just put goals and be like, I can achieve it in the next 5 years. No, that's why we're breaking these goals down. If you break it down into a month and break it down into a week, that might be 250K in a week. How do I achieve it? You begin to look at your sources of income. You begin to look at what do I need to add to improve or to ensure that this thing becomes a different result. I get a different result. Let me state categorically clear, and I've made it clear. I said, we don't blow, we actually grow. You know this slang or slogan, guy, I don't blow, guy, I want to blow. We're not designed to blow. We're designed to grow. We're designed to flourish. The Holy Scripture, talks about, planted by the rivers of water. That's symbolic. We were not born adults. A time came we were born as a baby. Things started happening under mentorship, under tutelage, parenting, and all of those things. That's how we're designed to function. So if you're hoping that somehow I'm going to play one funny thing, I'm going to do one this, and just one day it happens, it never, wake up, wake up, wake up. It never happens that way. Anything happen, someone is making it happen. Someone is very intentional making it happen. Let me use a trending matter. Yes, trended last week and maybe still trending. The Momzi as Miss Debbie or something, who said she wakes up 4:30 a.m. to prepare food for her husband. A lot of people are like, wow. Some people will even come under the comment and say, me, I'm waking up 3 a.m. Why not, staying some things like that. What we don't understand is that that is a product of preparation. We only saw a tweet. We don't know the years of preparation, of planning, what has gone behind the scene. We are celebrating what we're seeing now, not knowing what has gone behind the scene. If you are above 25 years, your target for savings will not be the same in percentage with someone who's below 25 years. We must understand that. Some of us have lost time. Some of us didn't understand what to do. If you're above 50 and all of that, your target for savings may not be the same thing with some other people because you've lost time. If you start saying I'm saving 10% for someone who is 25 or less, that you might not get that result between 25 and 50. You might not get where you want to get. So some of us might need to change strategy. Yours might be 25, yours might be 30%, yours might be 20% or 40, depending on how you earn. Depending on how you earn. For somebody, you might be looking at, okay, how do I achieve this? This is what I want to achieve. It's possible for me, or it's not looking possible. Yours might be to design other streams of income, might be to design, multiply. It's not necessarily working hard. It might be working smart. It might be exposure to the information or the knowledge we'll be introducing in the episodes as they follow. You're going to need to work hard. You're going to need to work smart. You're going to need to be exposed to certain information. You're going to need to learn how to use resources available to you, including humans, to multiply. In fact, the most powerful resource we have is human resources. Let me state this categorically. If you don't have value, if you don't have relationship, if you don't have character, you literally have signed up for poverty. Believe it or not. These things are bailout systems. These things are things that when it gets tough, relationship will get you whatever money can buy. Call it a private jet. There are those who buy private jets and give to other people. So you must learn. Don't be an island. You must learn to, use resources around you. Use people. Not use in quote of use, but use in taking advantage. Relationships you are investing in. You're not a leech, you're not a parasite when it has to do with those things. So you must have those plans all set out. I have mine, for example. I know what the figure is, I know what I broke it down. Now you must have what it is for investment. Listen, because of inflation and the nature of our nation, personally, I'm not really a fan of saving as much, but savings are meant to become portfolios or what you have for investment. They come to a certain point, you use them to invest. They become what you use for investment. So you're supposed to work any salary and whatever. At a time, they become your springboard to literally maybe leave the job or whatever it is, or leave the salary or have extra sources of income because you've used the savings you've gathered together to make an investment. So there must be provision for an investment. Let me tell you why. Have you heard somebody say some people came back from December, they came from abroad, they sold a car worth 5 million for 1 million naira, 750,000. I shout to, I no see that kind of thing. Who no tell me? I didn't. They will not tell you. You're not prepared. It's just designed that way. You will not hear about it. It's only those who are literally prepared. It's not about saying why they not tell you. The truth is that you will tell yourself if you are told, you start running around for, let me say more money. Who do I get from? Who will help me? Because literally these opportunities are like beings. They know where there is preparation. They look for where there is preparation. So when you have those savings, it's not necessarily not only for rainy days, but when opportunities come out, when juicy deals come out. I have this land I want to sell. It's so juicy. It's so much in a place. I need some money. And like, wow. It's literally a land you can collect today and sell tomorrow. And you're looking for who will borrow me, who will lend me, who will help me, because of lack of preparation. So there must be room. There must be an intentional whatever to ensure I am going to have to save for investment. This is something for investment. Your budgeting is how where it comes under what? Your provisions for your expenditure. You've allocated 40%, 30%, 25, 50% for expenditure, running your family, your bills, NEPA, rent, food, whatever. What makes you judiciously manage the percentage allocated for expenditure is that you have a budget. In this budget, this goes for food, this goes for bills, your cable news, your NEPA bills, your whatever utility bill you pay. This goes for this. This literally even offering in the church. That's why some people get to church. Sorry to say, you're putting in 50 naira, 20, 100 naira because there's no budget. These are supposed to be in the budget. So literally, this is what your expenditure is at the end of the month. So when you walk into Market Square, you're not looking around. What do I get? What do I get? Because there's money in the pocket. No, you stick to what the budget is because this is what I want to spend in this place per time. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you. So you must ensure you stick to a budget. Budgeting is powerful. It takes discipline to follow through budget. Trust me, you could practice it for 1 week and 2 weeks, you've left it. You're frustrated, literally. You will see an apple on the road and you feel like eating apple. An apple is not in your budget. It will be difficult to say I can't get the apple. You will see something that you'll see, these shoes they're beautiful and they even came cheap and they're quality and you want to get them, but they're not in your budget. It's going to take a lot of discipline to stick to budget. Now, we have this mantra that when you practice something for 30 days, it becomes literally a habit, a character. It becomes a lifestyle, a way of living. So if you're able to practice these things we're talking about consistently, literally you're going to see a change in mindset, a change in thinking pattern, a paradigm shift. You're going to begin to see results, literally. Now, we talked about miscellaneous charity. Please, if it's 10%, if it's 5%, please find something or someone you're giving a resource to or something, whatever it is. People you're helping, people you're lifting. It's very important. It's very, very important. We must ensure that this is part of our budget, part of our savings, part of whatever we're doing. We must. I had a story of a family in Jos, a young man who was engaged to a young lady, and he usually will come out in a particular roundabout. And these kids they call almajiri, kids who were begging in the north. He literally had change, 20 naira. He will, change and just share for them. Literally every day is going to work. He continued doing that. In fact, at the time, the fiance was not very comfortable with what he was practicing. But the time came in, he was on a journey coming down to the west, also had an accident in a particular place. Everybody died. He fell into a ditch and literally was going. While the fiance was in the north over there, was in a dream and saw the man in an accident and saw that these Almajiri people were like crying and saying, God, please, please, if this one dies, who will give us food? Who? That was what she was seeing in a dream, not knowing what was happening to her fiance were on the journey along. So, to cut the long story short, at the end of the day, a stranger walked in, saved the young man's life. After a few days, he came back and, linked up again with the fiance. And then he told the fiance, look at what happened. He came back with wounds. He was like, had to, see him in the hospital and all of those things. But at the end of the day, the lady narrated what happened, the dream she had, and how or the situation she saw that made her believe that these things are powerful. So she became the person who was the vanguard or who was the campaigner for this money. So and next time they get into the junction, she will even be the one to make the change. So those things are something you must make provisions for. You must make provisions for them. So as you continue, you will see what we're saying. Thank you very much. Now, let's understand something when it has to do with budgeting, when it has to do with your goals. Another thing you have to consider in your goals and your visions when it has to do with the year is I talked about value, I talked about character, if you remember, and I talked about relationships. There has to be in your goals relationship. Intentional plan to build relationship. Intentional plan to bring in people who are valuable. We have what we call gifted people. We have what we call people call them destiny connectors. We have what we call, people who will say, no matter what happens, I'm going to ensure I'm holding your hands, you will not go down. Whether they are call it praying for you, whether they are checking up on you, whether they're sending you a text. I usually do this monthly, usually send out a voice note on WhatsApp to a lot of people. I have two groups, people, I send out voice notes like this, and it's not just typing a message. I send out a voice note to tell you how important you are to me. So literally, some people will believe this is personally for them because I want to make it as personal as it gets. And I remember one of these people I sent this will always respond with, I mean, the way he values that particular message. And I'm like, you might not be the only person I'm sending. You actually are not, but you might not even be the person I'm pouring out this heart the most to in this group. But he enjoys that message. I met somebody in Market Square, like, Mr. Trinity, thank you for that monthly message. I really appreciate it because I'm trying to convey how much I feel. Imagine you have an emergency and there's nobody around you. Your house is on fire. Your neighbors, there's no relationship. Nobody wants to help you put out the fire. How much are you going to lose? How many years will it take you to regain back that resources? You're out somewhere in school or whatever. Your kids are having issues and nobody's there. You must invest in really. You must be intentional. It's not just. Sometimes they might be so rich and wealthy. Send them 100 naira recharge card. It's invest in a relationship. Check up on the person. How are you doing? It's been a while. Be intentional about it. It's very important. So in your goals and your plans, your vision for the new year, there must be a plan to say, I will be intentional about relationship building. It's very important. In fact, let me tell you, relationship is a stream of income. Relationship, as strong as it is a stream of income. Yes, people can say I'm in real estate. Yes, like I'm in real estate. I'm in this, I'm in that. I'm building relationship. It's a stream of income. It will be a fool who will look at you and say you're not making sense. Yes, give the person time. Give the person time. The person could get a reward because friends reward. Friends don't just friends reward. They reward loyalty. Friends reward, relationship. Friends give whatever they give to convey how much they feel, how much they appreciate you. And someone could, after 10 years, after 5 years, give you something that 10 years of a salary would never afford half of it. So it's possible. You must ensure that relationships are intentional. I know if you guy leave that guy waiting in the feel like. In fact, literally our Igbo mantra, or generally spoken on the street, works against this. No matter what you be, now for your house, they feed me. It's a wrong thing. In fact, nobody can do anything without a man. Even God no fit do anything without man, because it's our world. Literally. Let me put out a scriptural reference, for example, not necessarily to call, but Jesus, before he came here, as we were told in the Bible, he had to what? Send an angel, let me look that way, and say, go and negotiate with Mary. Will you allow me come? That is, if Mary did not agree, literally, they would have looked for another virgin, who would agree. So they needed a partnership with a man. If God needs partnership with a man, if God will say, I knock at the door of your heart, who are you not to need a man? Imagine you're the only person here. They will leave the banks open. Banks will not make any sense to you. The money will not make anything useful. The devil is making headline because he has men. If there's nobody here, he will be useless. So literally, your life must be built with relationship. Must be intentional about it. There is no jokes about it. You have to be intentional about building relationships. In your goals, you have to be intentional, like we said, about character, reputation. Character, reputation. It's important. I have a lot of clients because I am into real estate. I have a lot of clients who are abroad. And one of them during the December season said, I don't say it enough, but thank you. He literally said, we know what happens in the streets, but it's good to see a brother who loves a brother that will send you money, help us secure property. And we are not hearing stories. You send us receipts, you send us evidences. These things are very important. Somebody will be like, just make the money now. It's not about instant gratification. It's about paying the price. The time will come. These guys, it's not about them. In fact, where you sow is not where you reap. What you sow is what you reap. It must not be where you sowed it. So literally, in fact, sometimes we do something. Let me do for him. So he'll do. No. Those are literally. I don't know how to call it. That's transactional. It's not really what I mean. But build a reputation. Your boss lives in charge of a house as a caretaker of a property, whatever. Build it. There's no need. It's 2 million. One is 1 million. Is this? No. Build intentional about building a reputation. Where you scattered or spoiled or ruined, divide, where there's no character, be intentional about building. These things are going to attract you to people you're looking for, to opportunities you've been fighting, you've been doing some branding, you've been doing certain things, hoping to get those results, they would actually be the reason you will get to what you're looking for. So please be intentional about this. At this time, I think we want to take in some calls. Some people might have some questions, to ask with the much we've said. Please don't forget, next week we'll be here. We'll be here same time. Please don't say, these things are basic. These things are, is it just this? As simple as these things are, they are the very first. Some people, I'm sure, were expecting to hear some big opportunities at this first. No, no, no. It will be an error to start thinking we're going to be doing, blowing out those opportunities. No, because this thing, the money that has not entered your mind, if it enters your pocket, you will lose it. I give you time. It's a fact. In fact, let me tell you why I know that. Some of you have not seen a million, or I'm just talking, not necessarily using any amount. The first day you got that kind of amount of money you've never had, if it has not entered your mind, you will see it altered the choices you're making financially that time. You will enter into a restaurant and order what you wouldn't order. You would change it. I don't like this. Just get me this one. Just get me this one. You're trying to prove a point. Some of you will leave an app and leave your balance open so that it's not entered your mind. It's just something that is, the money would on its own leave your pocket. It will come through certain crises. It will come through expenditures because your mind has not comprehended it. What your mind has not caught, your pocket cannot hold. Believe this for sure. I tell you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, right now we're going to open the phone lines. Honestly, you're loaded. I must commend you. I'm learning a lot, and there are most of those mistakes I do to getting into the mall and begin to buy everything available out of my pocket. Okay, I'm going to open the phone lines right now. I want to believe that there are people who want to find out one thing or the other from you. 0806-588-5418. But before we wrap up, you're going to give them your own line so they can call you after the program. But this particular number now is the one with which to call here. 0806 588 5418. 0806 588 5418. You also give them your Facebook, your social media handles so they can follow you on social media as well. Okay, right now for the inquiries, call the number 0806 588 5418 to make your inquiries. 0806 588 5418. Hello.
Good morning. I can hear you. What's your name? You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, no problem. Just stick to the station. You'll get the contact. You'll get the information you need. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
0806 588 5418. 0806 588 5418.
Hello, good morning.
Please don't flash us. This is a very serious moment on radio. A very serious moment on radio. You've done all your New Year resolutions. This is something special to back it up, to make you actualize it.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. You're welcome.
Your name and your location.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Oh, come on. I didn't ask you to call, and introduce yourself and back off, okay? Ask questions. Ask questions. You've been listening to him. There are so many questions running through your mind, okay? Ask those questions. Even if they are not exactly from what you've learned, but so far that is related to this, of course, the program is Billionaires Creep with Mr. Trinity. Like my colleagues in the studio say they want to be billionaires. Look at their faces. And me too, I want to be a billionaire. Okay, so call in and ask those questions right now. Hello? Hello? Yeah, good morning. Yeah, name and location.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Mm. Thank you so much, sir, for that question. When we're talking about budgeting, we're talking about allocating a percentage of whatever you earn, whatever comes into your pocket at whatever time it comes in for certain things you have in your budget. So, for example, let's say you're a contractor, you do whatever you do, and it comes seasonally, it comes in some from time to time, not regular, not whatever. All you have to do is that when it comes in, I have by my budget insisted that 30% go into savings. So that means no matter the time it comes in, that money goes into savings. No matter the time that this particular money or whatever resource comes in, this goes into running the home. So let me say, okay, the foodstuffs are depleted or there's still more, but I allocated a certain amount of money for foodstuffs or for whatever, and there's still more in the house. I will insist that the money still goes into that or to an account where that one is not touched until when the let me say the foodstuffs or whatever runs out or is depleted or it needs to be, so that you don't come at a point where you're in a point where you don't have money at all. It's important to have cash flow. So when you have a source of income that is not as consistent as whatever, you must have in fact you must stick or ensure you have a budget, because you would look as if nothing is happening today and tomorrow you're bubbling. Next tomorrow you look as if nothing is happening. But when you have a budgeting system, it's able to keep you afloat no matter what happens. Like the dream that Joseph had, Pharaoh had, being able to sustain yourself while there is famine, because the wisdom has been there to prepare for the famine. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry, that's the much you can take from the course. Right now, you're going to drop your number and your social media handles so that the people can call you after now and then make these inquiries.
Okay, my phone number is 080 688 20270.
Take it again.
080 688 20270. You can also follow us on Facebook on Billionaire Script. Just search at Billionaire Script. You will follow, or you follow my personal profile on as Trinity Ihechiloro Chindima Wangba on Facebook. You can also follow us
Take it again so they can grab it.
Trinity Ihechiloro hyphen 080 688 20270, 080 or Trinity Ihechi on YouTube. That is at Mr. Trinity. Facebook at Billionaire Script or Trinity Ihechilo on Facebook. Any of them, you can follow us live coverage on social media.
Okay. The program, Billionaire Script, will make a return next week.